Hello, everyone. I want to talk about something that is simple but powerful that's been on my mind lately. You know, those moments where something small suddenly becomes really big, whether it's an offhand comment or a crying kid, or an email that throws your whole day off. Because I've been there, and that's more than once just in the past week, honestly. And I used to think that reacting fast meant that I was on top of things. I was quick to respond, quick to fix it, and that's when I realized that I was wrong because all it really did was leave me burned out, overwhelmed, and sometimes making things worse instead of better. And so here's what I learned, and what I'm still practicing is that growth doesn't happen when everything is perfect and peaceful. It happens in the pause, that little space between what just happened and what you do next. And that pause, that's where your power lives. So let's stop and think, what does that look like in real life? Sometimes it means taking a breath before you fire off a response to a frustrating email, right? We're very tempted to just jump right in and be like, oh my gosh, how dare you say that to me? But take a breath and stop and think. Many times what I do is I'll draft a response and probably an angry version of the response, and I will leave it in my draft box and I will step away, like physically step away, like get up, go somewhere else, go get a cup of coffee, go get a glass of water, go for a walk, something to help me create that distance so that I can create the pause. Another example is when someone comes to you with an opportunity to do something different or pick up a new responsibility. You say, let me think about it, instead of immediately rushing in and saying yes. And many times that gives you a moment again to remove yourself from the situation and stop and think, is this the right fit for me? And then another example that always comes to mind is realizing that you're not mad about this moment, but that sometimes you're carrying something from earlier, and that has kind of distorted the way you're viewing things. And so even then, taking a moment to acknowledge simply that you're not mad in this moment, that makes a big difference as well. And why does it matter, right? Why is it even important to think about taking a pause, especially for my fellow high capacity professionals out there? And it's this. It's because when we don't pause, we live in reaction mode. And that is the worst possible mode to be living in. Maybe not the worst possible, but it is not a great mode to be living in. What we want to be living in is a more proactive mode. Because when we live in that reactive mode, what we're actually doing is we start to respond, when we start living in proactive mode, we actually start responding with intention, not just instinct. And when we start leading with intention, when we start responding with intention, it helps us to lead better, live calmer, and more importantly, feel more in control of our own story. So here's my gentle challenge for the week. Notice the moments where you'd usually react fast. And just take a beat, take a moment, take a deep breath, one pause. You might be surprised by what happens, what opens up in that tiny shift. Now, if this hit home for you, you're not alone. I talk about stuff like this all the time in my Nurture and Navigate newsletter. So if you're looking for more ways to shift from reactive to proactive, from reaction to resilience, make sure you're subscribed. I'd love to see you around here more often. Thank you and have a great day.